and your gains still just for your cohort. Being a beginner, being 135 pounds when you started, everyone around you that fits that scheme seems to be gaining muscle at a way faster rate. And now they're 150 and 160 and 170, and you're still clawing your way into 147 and a half on a good day. Then, all right, we can try to help your hard gaining ass, because you probably are a hard gainer, but don't worry, there is something for you. And it's called steroids. I'm kidding, that's fucked up. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength. Today's topic is hard gainer training. Trying to get jacked if you are typically not a person who gets amazing gains. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to define what a hard gainer is. We're going to try to figure out if you're a hard gainer, and then I'll have some concepts and principles you can apply to give yourself better growth. And these concepts and principles don't work nearly as well for easy gainers. When people who typically gain muscle very easily get into problems, they usually have a different set of problems than hard gainers do. So what the hell is a hard gainer? First, this is a statistical definition. It has to be a spectrum definition because muscle gain proclivity is roughly normally distributed. It looks like any normal distribution, any bell curve, which means there's no line of cutoff. Any line of cutoff between folks that are easy gainers, normal gainers, and hard gainers has to be pretty arbitrary. But we can tentatively term hard gainers folks that are in the bottom third of that distribution. So in any gathering of 10 people at the gym, you grow muscle less impressively than probably 7 of them, at least. And that probably makes you a hard gainer. Now, how can you tell that you're a hard gainer? There is no surefire way, but here are a couple of clues. First, you're doing all the basics right and eating plenty. For example, if you're really an easy gainer or a normal gainer, you can take a program like 5x5, 5-3-1, Mark Ripto's program. These aren't like very nuanced, super individualized programs. But as a beginner and intermediate, they just put slabs of beef on you because it's just fucking straightforward. Just do a bunch of sets of 5s in underhand pull-ups and high bar squat, or low bar squats, Rip. And if you are an easy or normal gainer, you're just going to get jacked from it. But, and if you're eating a gram of protein and you're gaining weight over time and everything's clicking as a normal or easy gainer, it's just going to happen for you. You're just going to, like, one year in high school, you're going to weigh 160, and the next year you're going to weigh 180. And people are going to be like, holy fuck, shit, dude, you look jacked. That's how that works for normal gainers and easy gainers. For hard gainers, they're doing all the basics correctly, doing a good, decent program, doing good food, but they're not getting bigger and stronger nearly as fast as other people that they see. And I don't just mean people on social media, because that is wild. Compared to Samson Dauda, nobody gains muscle at all, right? So it's not the pros and social media celebrities I'm talking about. It's in your real life. Schoolmates, people you go to school with. You guys all started training. Everyone's kind of getting fucking jacked, and you're kind of not. I mean, you are, but less. Notably less than the other folks that you're training with. Friends of yours, you're like, one of your buddies picks up a weight, and then 2 months later, he's got a fucking chest bigger than yours. You've been at this for a year and a half. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Family. You got people in your family that are just like, you have 2 older brothers. One of them's way more jacked than you, even though he like sort of hits the gym, sort of sometimes. You are in there fucking day and night, and you're just like, you're getting muscle, but just way less rapidly than people you compare yourself to. And otherwise just literal humans that you see at the gym. Like, you see a new guy and you're like, ooh, like, I like his sweatshirt. Maybe I'm not straight. I'll watch him for a while and then probably like anesthetize him and wake him up in my house tied up. The usual, you say to yourself. And you see him a few months later, and you're like, dude, the fuck? Is everybody on trend? Why is the guy so jacked? Well, you making gains in your own right, because remember, hard gainers don't just make no gains. They make much slower gains. You're kind of looking a little better, but there's nothing to write home about. And if a bunch of people around you seem to be getting more jacked than you, and it's not just you're being delusional, then fuck, man, maybe you're a hard gainer. That being said, you cannot guarantee that you're a hard gainer if you haven't at least tried to get the basics right. If you're not gaining, but you haven't got the basics right, you got to get the basics right. There ain't nothing for me to tell you, motherfucker, because you're not even doing the shit. You can't claim to know you're not a hard gainer if someone's, I've literally had people be like, hey man, I think I'm a hard gainer. I'm like, all right. What's your consistency like? Like, well, I try to make it as often as I can. I'm like, fuck out of my face. Nope. Wrong answer. If only with good consistency can you fucking qualify for this shit. I watch some people train and they're like 10 reps in a reserve or something. They're like, yeah, man, it's tough for me to gain. Shut up. You don't even train hard. or the technique looks so terrible that you're like, what the fuck's going on here, bro? I don't even know what exercise this is or muscle you're training. I wouldn't gain any muscle like that either. But if you have the basics right, good technique, good food, hard training, consistency, shit like that, then you're not gaining very fast compared to all of your peers. As a matter of fact, notably slower. Yeah, you're probably a hard gainer. But if you don't know the basics, I have a couple of resources for you. We have the Hypertrophy Made Simple, just type that into YouTube, series. It's 16 videos, everything about how to create a muscle growth program for yourself. We have the Muscle Gain Dieting Made Simple series, which tells you all about how to eat and arrange your diet to get jacked. And once you get through those, if you check off the boxes and you're doing all the right stuff that those series tell you to do, and your gains still just for your cohort, being a beginner, being 135 pounds when you started, everyone around you that fits that scheme seems to be gaining muscle at a way faster rate. And now they're 150 and 160 and 170, and you're still clawing your way into 147 and a half on a good day. Then, all right, we can try to help your hard gaining ass, because you probably are a hard gainer, but don't worry, there is something for you, and it's called steroids. I'm kidding. That's fucked up. Oh, why not, right? If you want to ruin your life in 50 other ways, but get a little bit more jacked, steroids, oof, it's not sexy to put on the bottle. It'll ruin your life. Asterisks, really, seriously. Let's analyze how hard gainers need to be paying attention to their training from a couple of different perspectives. Let's see what we got, a little preview. Technique, loading, how much weight to use, effort, how hard to try, how many set numbers to do, how much volume, what frequency to try, how much variation to use, and that's about it. And a little important reminder at the end. All right, so technique. Fact, easy gainers, who we can all unite in hating. Easy, Mike Israel tells easy gaining chest. We're not talking about you. Shh, we are. Don't tell my chest. Easy gainers can just move weight around and get amazing results. When you see that dumbass motherfucker who weighs 220 and has veins in his traps doing some kind of dumbass bullshit shrug, you're like, oh, yeah, that's the technique to get you jacked. No, it's not. He's just like that guy who has enough New Jersey Italian ancestry to just get jacked off of looking at weights. Shit happens, right? Easy gainers can get away with all kinds of bullshit. As a hard gainer, if you copy those easy gainers, you may not see hardly any results or very poor results. You may be wondering, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Well, we could have answered that question for you objectively, because there is an objective way to optimize your technique. It's just a couple of things. One, control the weight at all times, because your muscles are only active when you're controlling the weight. Get a deep stretch on every exercise that conceivably possible. Don't fucking cut your range of motion. That's going to be bad news. Don't do top end partials right here. Easy gainers, they get jacked from doing fuck all. Hard gainers might not get jacked at all. You just get sore elbows. Making sure that the movement hits the muscle that you intend to hit. When easy gainers take a look at some of the folks, let's say, following Coach Kassem, and some of these folks that follow Coach Kassem do these weird lat exercises, pull-arounds and pull-aparts and all this other shit. I'm lampooning Kaz just for fun a little bit, but just some wacky exercises. And a lot of the onus in those exercises that Kaz teaches is very proper biomechanics, and the proper biomechanics ensures that you're hitting the muscle that you want to hit and not some other bullshit muscles around the shit. Like, I want bigger lats, I want bigger lats. I don't necessarily want bigger rhomboids or traps or rear delts or side delts or biceps or any other thing that tends to take over when your lats aren't the thing that your body wants to turn on, seemingly, because you have fucking hard gainer lats. When jacked easy gainers look at those training strategies and look at the small people doing them on Kaz's videos, they're like, man, fucking pussies, you gotta do fucking rows like Ronnie did, fucking rows, pull downs, pull-ups. It's what got grandma big. It's what got grandpa big. That's what it works. These guys are small because they don't do the hard stuff. Bullshit. 9 cases out of 10. Those people are small because they tried all the hard stuff for years. It just didn't fucking do a whole lot for them. Now what are they supposed to do? Well, they're supposed to do exactly what Kaz teaches, is making sure that the movement you're doing is limited by the muscle that you intend to hit, is very much recruiting that muscle to its limits. So if you're doing some kind of, if you're doing pull-ups, you're like, I feel it in my bicep, in my forearm, in my rear delt, and somewhere in the middle of my back, I don't get a lat pump, I don't get lat soreness, I can't even tell my lats are active. Am I going to tell you pull-ups is the fucking movement for you? Yeah, sure, maybe, but let's see what Kaz has to say. And then he teaches you the fucking pull-apart situation, and you're like, bro, not only can I feel my lats contracting, I know biomechanically this shit is fucking optimal or whatever, which is good, but also, like, I get fucking pumped in my lats for the first time ever and repeated delayed onset soreness every time I use this exercise for good, decent, high volumes. Hey, you got it made. Because remember, easy gainers, they just do things that nominally involve the muscle. They're just going to get fucking gains, right? They're curling like fucking like this, and they get huge arms. You're like, well, that's how you curl. No, that's how they curl, because they can get away with whatever the fuck they want. But as a hard gainer, you got to really pay attention to the shit, which brings a huge irony I've been sort of skirting around. Hard gainers are the people that are going to be the smallest people at the gym, but the most meticulous about their technique, which give technique kind of a bad rap in some sense. Because, man, it's all these fucking small guys, bro. But like, when you don't grow from dog shit, stupid idiot technique because you're not an easy gaining fucking R word. We allowed to say that word? Scott knows what I'm talking about. It sounds a lot like regard. Few letters different. When that guy fucking gets huge off rows and shit, that doesn't get any muscle on your fucking body. And you might need to think a little bit ahead. Now, categorically, is it true that those big ass dudes who have great genetics, if they tried the cast pull apart shit, they do even better? Yeah, fuck yeah, absolutely. That shit just works better. It's just better. But you don't have to pay attention to just better when you got it easy. When you got it hard, you got to sign up for like an N1 course or some shit, really look into the stuff and start to figure out, okay, when I'm training my muscle, my quads, I had better be arranging everything in a technique to really hit the quads. If I'm just going up and down in a squat, because of my hard gaining ass, my glutes might be taking over and my quads won't even grow much. Big problem. You might have had that problem before. And lastly, every rep should be similar. Consistency. Every rep almost identical is the concrete on which you build your foundation of size. Again, you don't have to worry about this if you're an easy gainer. But if you're an easy gainer, you don't have to worry about anything. As a hard gainer, you're going to have to be concerned with keeping every rep similar. Now, I don't mean worry. I don't mean be anxious. I don't mean be neurotic. I just mean do a good fucking job in training with attending to good technique. Next, loading. How much weight should you use? Easy gainers, again, are of no help to us because they just slap on plates and they're good. High reps, check. Low reps, check. Moderate reps, check. No reps, they still grow. A week off, it's what my body needed. Whatever. What the fuck am I going to learn from you? You, Mr. Hardgainer or Mrs. Hardgainer, is there a Mr. Hardgainer? Mrs. Hardgainer? Scott, the video guy, what does a Mrs. Hardgainer look like? Like a skinny mini? Like a...
Yeah, because she's like skinny fat. Also.
Ooh, hot. Is that hot or not? I can't tell. Depends on how the fat is shaped. That's the correct answer. If you are a hard gainer, you have to load strategically, which means a few things. First, use a broad spectrum of loads into 5 to 30 rep range. Sets of 5, sets of 10, all the way up to sets of 30. Try them. See which rep ranges give you the best stimulus to fatigue ratio. For example, which rep ranges give you the best perception of tension in the target muscle? Generally, the heavier ones will, but it varies. Which ones give you the best burn, the best pumps, the best perturbation? Like if you have a rep range for hack squats, which makes you fall down the stairs afterwards, that's probably good news. And also delayed onset muscle soreness. As a hard gainer, you probably don't get sore very often. Prediction. Easy gainers get sore all the goddamn time from anything. It is not a coincidence that they grow better. So if you're getting some soreness from a movement, as a hard gainer, that's really good. That might be your jam. That's the rep range you might want to use. And choose rep ranges that are the easiest on the joints and with regard to systemic fatigue. So if sets of 28 just fuck you up systemically, or sets of 5 just blast your knees into oblivion, maybe stay away from those and pick movements that pick the rep range somewhere between where it's a good trade-off. And because you have to work for your gains, unlike easy gainers, when you find out which exercises for every muscle and rep range work best for you, which rep ranges work best for every muscle and every exercise, lean into those more than not. Someone's like, hey man, you want to do some sets of 3 today? You're like, I'm good. Like, come on man, it's good for the chest, strength, size, shit like that. You're like, yeah, look, if I had amazing genetics, I would do it with you. Fuck it, nothing matters, YOLO. But I got something to do over here. I got a fucking business to run. Like, what's your business? You're like, well, technically I'm on that one website we're not supposed to talk about. Ew. Scott the Video Guy, did you know that people go on that website we're not supposed to talk about? This starts with a synonym for exclusive and ends with a synonym of person that likes you a lot. And apparently people put non-sexual content on there.
Yeah, it's befuddling to me. There's like cooking shows and shit.
Why aren't we on there?
We could be.
YouTube execs, we love you. We're never leaving. All jokes, terrible jokes. I rescind the jokes. Next, load progression. Same category of loading. We know already we need to target the rep ranges that work best for us. Highest stimulus to fatigue ratio. Fact number 1. Fact number 2, you're a hard gainer. You're going to progress through loads slowly, which means you add 2.5 pounds to the bar or implement every week or 2. or you add a rep every week or two in your progression. You can add random shit because you feel a certain way if you are an easy gainer because everything fucking works. Doesn't matter. I fucking feel great today. Add a fucking 25 on the fucking leg press. 25, holy shit. Shouldn't it be a 5? Nope, 25. I feel great. Aren't you going to get hurt? Nope, I have amazing genetics. Fact. Sweet. When you are struggling for gains, you got to go slowly and milk everything you can and not get hurt. Remember, you're not the best at gaining muscle, which means you're also not the best at gaining strength, which means how quickly you have to raise your overload is reduced in slope. And so you go up by 2.5 pounds every week or two, as opposed to 5 pounds every other day or some shit like that. To put this another way, if you're randomly progressing, like sometimes you put 5 pounds extra on the bar, sometimes 50, when you have great genetics for muscle gain, it's like being rich. And using random shit in the gym is like going to the casino. If you're rich and you go to the casino and you don't like mortgage your house or some shit like that or sell your company while you're there, you can afford to gamble away some shit. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. No big deal. You're rich. Who cares? But if you're poor, you save for fucking pennies every day. And those pennies are 2.5 pounds every other week, 1 rep every other week. You put them shits in the bank because you can't go to the casino. If you are a hard gainer and you're like, YOLO, let's like put 20 more pounds on the bar, you either get hurt or your reps drop by 5 and you have no idea if you're progressing even. And someone's like, how does that feel? Like, wow, SFR is awful. Like, this is just powerlifting at this point. I guess doing random shit only works well if you just have amazing genetics and everything works well for you. Again, very little to learn from those folks. Next, effort. Easy gainers can just go a bit hard and they're good. IFBB pro Jared Feather says this all the time, and it's true. A huge fraction of IFBB pros train ultra hard. But another huge fraction of IFBB pros just have such godlike genetics. What they think is hard training is really the easiest training in the world. You watch them train and you're like, the fuck? When's that guy going to start trying? He doesn't need to start trying because he's got the fucking best genetics of all time. If he tries, he just gets more tired. Don't worry about him. He doesn't need to try. You, Mr. Hardgainer, you need to try, which means you got to push it, which means always use a good technique, never falter, even in the last reps, but start a few reps shy of failure, just a few in week 1 of your plan. And as every week goes over and over and over, week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you add a little bit of weight, add a rep here and there, and continue to make sure you match your progress. So if you added 2.5 pounds from last week and you got sets of 10 last week, it had better be sets of 10 again at 2.5 pounds heavier. If you did sets of 10 last week and you added a set to every rep, a rep to every set, it's sets of 11, not like 10, 10, and you didn't feel like it. You did 9, 11, 11, 11, 11. You got to push yourself. And as a hard gainer, you can't rely on your body to do a good job for you because thanks God it gave me the shit body that doesn't gain muscle really fast, but you got to rely on your mind. And you can be mentally stronger than most pros if you're a regular person, just by really focusing on what you're doing and getting the art of just being a fucking warrior in the gym. Most people don't need to do that. You might need to do it so that of all the things keeping you from gaining the muscle you want, not training hard enough, you just X out because it's not one of them. Big deal. Set numbers. What do we do about set numbers? Easy gainers can gain from low volume or high volume. It just doesn't fucking matter in most cases. When they go low volume, they don't grow as much per any given week of training, but they have so much recovery resource left over that they can go for 16 weeks unabated, get huge. If they go high volume, they get really beat up, and after 6 weeks, they have to deload. But every week of high volume, they gain unreal amounts of muscle. They're winning either way. It doesn't fucking matter. When you have not so great genetics, it has been studied before and illustrated that people who don't grow muscle as easily tend to respond better to higher volumes rather than lower volumes. This is a big deal. There used to be 2 competing hypotheses for why hard gainers were hard gainers. One of them came from the very intelligent at face value perspective of these are people who are not recovering enough. They're training really hard, but they're not recovering enough. And recovery is what is going to help them grow. The other perspective is, well, actually, they're not training hard enough / enough volume, and they need more of a stimulus. They're just more resistant to stimulus, and their recovery's fine. They just need more. Officially, as of 2024, it's probably 85-15 literature-wise in favor of hard gainers on average do better if they do more volume than they're typically doing. Put another way, one of the reasons they're hard gainers is because they've been doing the same volume everyone else has been telling them to do. Everyone else is a normal gainer. There is some fiber type composition stuff here is probably just a part of this, but I would say a significant part. If you're slow twitch dominant, which means the vast majority of the muscles of your body are more slow twitch on average than fast twitch, most humans are about 50-50, then as a slow twitch fiber carrying person, you have some interesting shit going on. One is you don't gain muscle very easily because slow twitch fibers don't like to gain muscle a lot. But the other thing is you can recover from godlike amounts of volume, no problem. Next day, next week, you're fucking totally great. Which means if you do low volume as a more slow twitch oriented person, you're just not going to get a lot out of it. It's going to be easy as fuck, but you're not in the gym to have easy, you're in the gym to get gains. But if you do more volume, not only do your slower fibers need more volume to grow more, but they can also recover from more volume. It's a big deal. So hard gainers, on average, respond better to higher volumes than they think, which means you should start at 2 to 4 sets per muscle per session as a hard gainer. And if you're recovering really well between sessions, someone's like, hey man, Thursday chest again from Monday. You're like, fuck it, I could have done this chest again on Tuesday, being completely honest with you. Then you increase the number of sets you do every single week as you're recovering super well and you know you could recover better. Add 1 or 2 sets per muscle per week, or even per exercise. The nuances here get a bit, individualized. But adding 1 or 2 sets per week, eventually you get up to really, really high training volume. Probably. You'll probably find your best growth there as a true hard gainer. But don't just say I'm a hard gainer, I need tons of volume from day one, because a lot of volume up front from day one increases your probability of injury, increases your probability of overreaching, just too much fatigue really fast, and then you go nowhere. Start low, but work up based on your body's responses. If your body's really recovering super well, add a little bit of volume, add a few sets here and there. If your body's like, this is about the limit, stop adding sets and just add load and reps. If your body's like, bro, this is fucked up, I can't do this reliably, take away some sets. Through that autoregulation, as a hard gainer, you will find 9 times out of 10 that it's more volume than you thought you were doing, it's more volume than you thought you should be doing that's getting you the best gains, especially for specific muscles. By the way, this is in the middle of the video, so it's not going to be something people really get out of it unless they watch the whole thing. This works for each individual muscle. If your biceps are hard gaining, but your triceps are super fucking mega big and responsive, like mine, the biceps hard gaining part, the triceps are fine, then using these principles can make you better gain in your biceps. So if your biceps are not super responsive and you've been doing 8 sets of biceps a week because your favorite pro does 6, and you're like, well, I'll do 8, but 6 seems to be ideal. You do 12 and then 14 and then 16 and then 18 and then 27, and you realize 27 got you the best gains of your life. You're like, what the fuck have I been doing this whole time? And the answer is training like a normal person, but you weren't normal. You were born worse than everyone. You're sick and you need medicine. Oh, wrong video. We do a little bit of totalitarian brainwashing on the side. Contract countries, China, Iran, Russia. It's fun. It pays the bills. Frequency. Easy gainers can train each muscle 1 time per week and grow really well. How do we know that? The vast majority of pros train muscles 1 or sometimes 2 times a week, usually just once, leg day, back day, etc. And for them, it works. Guess what, motherfucker? You aren't them. They have amazing genetics, and if you're a hard gainer, you by definition don't. Hard gainers, remember, on average, a little bit more slow twitch. They can often disrupt the muscles less than easy gainers per given session. Easy gainers, you get Jared Feather to have him do 5 sets of roughly 15 reps in the leg press. He might die. If he doesn't die, he might not walk out of the gym, carried out. And if he walks out of the gym, he's going to be stumbling and throwing up. That's not a ton of, it's not a crazy workout, but Jared sure shit is not doing that 2 days later. If you are not Jared Feather, you don't have amazing genetics. If you're a hard gainer, you might do 5 sets of 15 in a leg press and be like, what else we got? What the fuck? What do you mean what else we got? Go home. Like, okay. You just walk home right through the gym as if they were never there. You're like, the hell is no normal gait pattern? What the hell's going on? And then here's the thing. 2 days later, that same person's like, hey, I'm ready to train legs again. I got a little sore actually. It was fun. But like that lasted for 4 hours and now I'm good. What? How the hell do hard gainers recover like that? Well, remember, hard gainers do recover faster on average than easy gainers, which means that instead of training each muscle 1 to 2 times per week as a hard gainer, you'll be healed much faster for the next session. Thus, you can train a muscle hard 2 or 3 times a week, maybe eventually even more. Some muscles 4 times a week, etc. And you might get better results. As a matter of fact, you probably will, especially if you do this higher frequency training just for a few months at a time for some muscles, upper body, let's say, high frequency. After a few months, your upper body gets pretty beat up, but with good gains. Switch to low frequency for upper body, go to lower body, and increase the frequency there. That kind of specialization, 1 step forward, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that can get you awesome gains over time. You don't have to just do super high frequency for your whole body. This is a good way to burn the fuck out. It's just too much systemic fatigue. If you can hack it, amazing. But if not, you can still do high frequency just on some muscles versus others. But really big important point, if you're a hard gainer, higher frequencies are more likely to be your friend than lower frequencies. Yes, Ronnie Coleman got his back training back. Well, actually, Ronnie Coleman trained twice a week. Most people don't talk about that. Dorian Yates, huge back, train his back once a week. Dope. I love it. Dorian Yates is the fucking man. Is your name Dorian? Is your last name Yates? I didn't think it was. Next, variation. Easy gainers can do just 1 or 2 exercises for their entire lifting career and get huge. Almost all international elite ranked weightlifters in the sport of weightlifting, snatch, clean and jerk, that goes to the Olympics, almost all of them have literally world-class quads by bodybuilding standards. What exercises do weightlifters typically do for their quads? Front squats, back squats, sometimes overhead squats, but no one ever does overhead squats in a loading range or volume range that causes growth. So it's 2 exercises. It's 2 fucking exercises. 90% of weightlifters just do those 2 exercises as 90% of their fucking effort. And they all have unbelievable legs. But how many international class weightlifters have slow twitch genetics? By definition, fucking 0, because how the hell are you supposed to do explosive lifting with slow twitch genetics? These are mostly really fast twitch fiber folks. As a matter of fact, not are they just fast twitch fiber, they're also got really good genetics for recovery and really good genetics for muscle growth. Because Olympic weightlifting is typically really low volume, but they want you to gain all the muscle you need in the proper way of training, which is really fast and really high force. There's not a lot of time for a crap load of extra hypertrophy work in weightlifting. So people that have really awesome genetics can get literally internationally competitive quads on a bodybuilding stage just by doing 2 exercises. That ain't you if you're a hard gainer. If you follow the plan of our simple science diet, we guarantee you'll see results or your money back. How can we make this promise? Well, we've spent over 10 years researching and experimenting with real diets and real people using them, which means we really know how to get this process right for basically everyone. As part of our offer, at no extra expense to you, you'll receive the RP Gym-Free at-home workout routine, 8 user-friendly ebooks about the science of diet, cooking techniques, and all necessary basic fitness knowledge, together with detailed guides on meal preparation and strategies for maintaining a healthy diet while away from home. If you're ready to change your body, click the link in the description of this video to get started. If you're a hard gainer, you may adapt to exercises more quickly, which means after a few months, leg press used to be good, but now it's meh. It's stale. Your knees hurt a little bit. Your hips feel weird. You're not getting the same pumps. You're not getting the same tension, the same burn. You're not getting as long of soreness afterwards. It just seems like you're causing more stress than you're causing adaptation. And so hard gainers have a little bit of an emphasis on watching their exercises and figuring out when those exercises stop producing as much tension and burn and pump and perturbation and disruption as they used to, and maybe are producing a little bit more fatigue, and then replacing them. So if you have unreal genetics for quads, I just be like, here's the squat. Like, okay, just do this. Okay. And you're going to have huge legs. Okay, sweet. I'll see you in 10 years. I'll be back in the corner of the gym in 10 years. Hard gainer, come here. Squat, leg press, hack squat, belt squat, pendulum squat. Get to know all of these. Figure out your rep ranges, figure out everything. And every few months when one of them gets stale, replace it with another. Go. That's the advice. Big difference there. Now, do easy gainers also benefit from variation? Yes. But the thing is, they don't always need to have variation. No joke. Let's see. I got probably about 80% of my current chest size doing flat barbell bench, shoulder press machine, doesn't even count for chest, and weighted dips. 2 exercises, flat barbell press, weighted dips. And by the way, since I have I'm trying to pat myself on the back here. Feel free to insult me. It won't be the first or last time I insult myself with you. I do have cool upper chest genetics. So like if you've seen any pictures of me that are done decently right, my upper chest kind of like sticks out for no reason. I got most of this upper chest by never doing a single incline. I just did powerlifting style arch retracted, very low, small range of motion at the deep stretch, like super powerlifting style bench press for like basically every 5 days. I would do 3 sets of bench at, sets of 5 to 12, 5 to 15 reps. And I would do like 3 sets of weighted dips like 90 pounds hanging, super full range of motion dips, another couple sets of dips. I would do some kind of a shoulder press machine that didn't even, maybe it hit my upper chest a little bit. And then that was it. We literally did that workout for years. That's it, bro. And I tried other workouts. I didn't like them. So I just went back to my old workout and I got fucking massive. My chest got fucking enormous. I little stretch marks everywhere, the whole thing. What did I learn from that? That I had good chest genetics and not much else. So when you're a hard gainer, you might have to be a bit more savvy with your exercises because it would be cool to just do 1 or 2 exercises and get super fucking jacked. I'd love that, but that's not the case for everyone. My biceps, definitely hard gainer. I had to fucking more or less invent new bicep exercises to keep myself gaining. The usual suspects did not so much for me. So there's another situation. All right. A lot of good tips here, if I say so myself. One thing to remember that's really important, and I'm not trying to throw shade. Scott, how many times do people say I'm not trying to throw shade and immediately after they start throwing mega shade? Almost all. Thanks. Great interaction, Scott, the video guy. Thanks so much for that. You know what? No, don't. No, it's too late. We had a moment. You fucked it up. Yeah. Ooh. Scott, the video guy, ruins things. Yeah, there's definitely a DVD in that one. Digital video disc. Here's an important reminder. If you are a hard gainer, you can learn a ton of high quality information that's going to help you gain from huge guys at your gym and from pro bodybuilders online. Absolutely. But 9 times out of 10, these folks are easy gainers. That's why you know them. People who are hard gainers rarely get famous in the muscle world or noticed at the gym because you need big muscles for that sort of thing. And hard gaining means big muscles are tough to come by. For example, these folks might have recovery as their limiting factor more than effort or volume. Most hard gainers don't have the muscle mass to push recovery all that far. They don't have any recovery issues. So when the pros tell you, or the bros at the gym that are jacked tell you because you're small and you ask them for advice, like, yeah, man, you gotta really focus on your food, really focus on your stress management, sleep a ton, you just try to take it easy because like recovery is super big. You're like, all right. And like train like once a week, every muscle, not twice because you need recovery. For them, it's the best advice in the world. For other people close to their limits of adaptation, really jacked people, yeah, systemic fatigue's fucking massive and recovery is the number one limiting factor in making gains for enormous jacked people with good genetics. But for most hard gainers, recovery is not even remotely something they'll approach in the next number of years. And they need to cram as much stimulus as frequently as possible in short bursts and then back off and do that again while eating and sleeping well. And recovery is just really not a concern for them. It's the stimulus that's the problem. So you can get great advice from pros, but you got to interpret it as, well, this is good advice for an easy gainer. Is it really going to apply to me? Sometimes yes, sometimes that's not really the limiting factor. So take what you can from them, listen to them, hear them, try to understand them, see where they're coming from, take any bits of wisdom you can to apply to yourself, but expect that you might have to do some things a little bit differently than they do. There is not, everyone does different stuff. And then as people get to the pro ranks and eventually to the Olympia, everyone's doing the same thing. That's not how that works. Most people don't make it to that far. You just want to be a guy at your gym that's 5'11" and 190 with abs so that Stacy can finally notice that you've been flexing your forearms at her for the last 3 years. Wait. And give you some of that. Well, you know what she's going to give you, or at least that's your plan. You don't want to be 280-pound IFBB pro. You have different genetics. You're a hard gainer. They're not. But you can get to 190 and 5'11" in many cases, even as a hard gainer. Your path won't be like to the Olympia. Your path will be very different, off to the right, off to the left. And you'll have to use some strategies, the ones described today, that are a little different and are applied a little differently than the best in the world do them. Because you don't have those genetics and you have to approach the problem a tiny bit differently. Folks, if I see you in the gym and you're a hard gainer, fuck away from me. I don't want your disease. Ugh. JK, if you're a hard gainer, be intelligent, work hard, prioritize recovery and food for sure, but you really got to smash that shit. And when you do, good things will happen. And then you're jacked, and then you'll be happy, and then you'll have Stacy and a wedding, and make sure you send me an invite. Scott, do you think if one of our YouTube followers, subscribers, members ever actually becomes more jacked marginally than they were and manage to attract a person in their life named Stacy, that relationship goes far enough to where they get married, do you think we'll get a wedding invite?
Yeah, I think that's a real long shot.
Guys, if that happens to you, please, I 100% will come to your wedding. First promise. Second promise, Scott, the video guy, will do all the videography for your wedding. He has competitive rates. See you guys next time.